Could Red Hulk finally be making his way to the MCU? There was a little bit of evidence for this in Avengers Endgame, and now it appears that we have more evidence that he's going to be coming to the MCU sooner than later. How's it going, everybody? It's Warren, and yesterday we got some pretty big news on the set of Black Widow. William Hurt was spotted on the set of Black Widow, and of course William Hurt plays Thunderbolt Ross in the MCU. And if you're not aware of who Thunderbolt Ross is in the comics, he is Red Hulk. And these photos that Red Hulk has been spotted in make us believe that Red Hulk is about to make an appearance in the MCU sooner than later. I'll break down what Thunderbolt Ross showing up on the set of Black Widow means, and why it's evidence that Red Hulk is coming to the MCU in this video. But first, be sure to subscribe to my channel and leave a like and a comment on it so you can enter my giveaway for a chance to win an Xbox One or a PS4. Now, I can't show these photos in the video because they are owned by justjared.com, but I'll link them in the description down below, and they really do have a pretty significant meaning. Now, for starters, these were released yesterday, and the Black Widow filming has already wrapped. This leads many of us to believe that William Hurt was there to film the post-credit scene for Black Widow. And what is really interesting about William Hurt in these photos is that he doesn't really look like Thunderbolt Ross. Yes, it is Thunderbolt Ross, you can clearly tell it's him, but he does look a little bit different. He looks older, weaker, sicker, and his clothes are a little bit baggy. Could this be the result of him experimenting on himself to try and become Red Hulk? Now, for a really quick backstory about Red Hulk, for those of you who do not know, Red Hulk is the result of Ross experimenting on himself to try and give himself powers to combat the original Green Hulk. It ultimately ends up working, but Ross manages to keep his intelligence. So it's essentially like a smart Hulk from Avengers Endgame, the Hulk's body but Bruce Banner's mind. Or in this case, the Red Hulk's body and Ross's mind. Now, you may not think that the fact that he looks weak and feeble and he's leaning on a cane really means anything, but let's take a look at Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Remember, Black Widow is going to take place between the events of Civil War and Avengers Infinity War. And in Avengers Infinity War, even though he was a hologram, you could tell that he was in really good shape. He looks very healthy, and he sounds healthy as well, and he clearly seems to be in good enough shape to walk without a cane, and he's wearing a suit that fits really well. So he goes from right after the events of Civil War looking very, very sick and weak to being perfectly fine and healthy in Avengers Infinity War. Now, of course, we know that Marvel does not follow the comics to the T. They draw inspiration from the comics. So General Ross becoming Red Hulk to better combat the original Green Hulk doesn't really make much sense. But perhaps he could be experimenting on a way to make him better from whatever sickness that he has, and the result could be him turning into the Red Hulk. Because how exactly could he go from looking very sick and very weak right after the events of Civil War, right before the events of Avengers Infinity War, and right before the events of Avengers Endgame, where he is also seen at the end of the movie looking very normal and very healthy? It doesn't really make much sense. But perhaps he somehow found a cure to it that also happened to make him become the Red Hulk. And perhaps he could somehow find a way to control turning into the Red Hulk, much like Bruce Banner in the first Avengers film. And there's also the chance that him being this sick and weak could be the result of him experimenting on himself. Because in Civil War, he was also normal looking as well. He looked perfectly healthy. And Black Widow takes place right after Civil War, so how could he go from being perfectly healthy to looking very sick? Well, perhaps it's the result of him experimenting on himself to try and give himself powers. Because the Sokovia Accords didn't exactly go the way he planned, and he pretty much learned that he can't control the Avengers, he can't control people with powers. They're just too strong. So how do you combat that? How do you fight against them? Well, you give yourself powers, and you're probably not going to get it right away. So this sick and weak state that we see him in could be the result of him experimenting. And then when we see him looking healthy again in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, he could have figured it out. So could this be a setup for the Red Hulk? There is evidence to support the fact that it could be happening. After all, we are getting a She-Hulk coming to Disney+. Perhaps the Red Hulk is going to make an appearance in the MCU as well. Because after all, Thunderbolt Ross's first appearance was in the Incredible Hulk movie. He has been in the MCU for an incredibly long time, one of the oldest characters in the MCU. And since Marvel cannot do a solo Hulk film, perhaps they are going to introduce Red Hulk as a way to compensate for that as well. But be sure to let me know your thoughts on this. What do you think about these pictures? Why do you think he looks so sick and weak? Do you think it's a result of him experimenting on himself, trying to give himself powers? And do you think he looks better in Infinity War because he finally figures it out. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and again, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment so you can enter my giveaway for a chance to win an Xbox One or a PS4. You can also click the link in the description down below for your chance to win a Nintendo Switch, and if you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, I do random giveaways on there as well. As always, this is Warren, and thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.